23rd meeting to order, and I guess it's 7:01. And before I start, because we're doing this virtually, I'm going to have to read something. Sorry, guys, about it puts us in compliance with the open meeting law. So pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Library Board of Trustees will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with the right or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the town's website. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to listen or watch the meeting may do so by visiting the Shrewsbury Media Connection website. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the town's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. Okay, then there's some directions. So I have to thank Priya for doing such a great job last month. I was really impressed with the quality of that recording that you made.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Claire.
Yeah. So we're getting ready to do the new normal, I guess. This is our first meeting after the election. So we have a new trustee, April Jones-Prince here. And so we welcome her. And the first thing that we do at this meeting every year is to reorganize the board. Now, I have sent around individually messages to everybody on the board assessing what they wanted to do as far as serving as an officer or what kind of committees they were interested in joining. And as a consequence of that, I think I've put together what I'm a Chicago girl, I'll call it the slate of candidates, which I actually might be very efficient. It seems like everybody's kind of on board with this in my private conversations. So I personally hate it when we're all put on the spot, especially in the public, to kind of talk about which roles you want to take on. So I'm going to tell you what the results of my little poll were. As far as officers are concerned, some people asked me to stay on another year, and I've done 2 years. You all know that I wasn't really anxious to do a third, but I will do it, okay? Because I think it's important. These crazy times, good heavens, who knows when things are going back to normal. So I'm going to do that. And Debbie has agreed to be the vice chair. Lisa has generously agreed to do another year as secretary, and she's been doing such an outstanding job. Yeah. And you're hard to replace, Lisa. And finally, Joan has agreed to be our first treasurer. That's that new role that we have. And I thought, given her experience over the years and stuff, that she has kind of the long view of the library and what it would be really valuable for this. And so that's the slate of officers as far as I see it. It seems people were kind of in agreement with that, but we can discuss it. And then if somebody wants to make a nomination to, accept that, and we could do a vote. Might save us going through 4 votes, guys, because we have to do votes by roll call because we're remote.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we accept the officers' slate as presented.
I second.
Okay, so now I'm going to go through a roll call. You tell me whether you vote yes or no. Okay, Joan?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Debbie?
Yes.
Anne? Marie?
Yes.
April?
Yes.
And me, yes. And of course, Jeff can't be here today. But I had actually communicated with him about all of this before as well. So our next item of business is to organize our committees, and we have 3 committees. And once again, thank you everyone for getting back to me on this. I'm going to propose for the Personnel Committee that we would have Nancy, Deb, and April. For the Facility Committee, Dean, Anne Marie, and Lisa. And for the Finance Committee, Joan, me, and Jeff, because that gives everybody a role on one committee. Does that sound pretty good to people? I don't think we have to vote on this one.
That sounds great.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. So, well, as I said, thanks everybody for, your help in all of this. Okay, so that's item 3 on our agenda. So our next item is to approve the minutes of the May 25th meeting. And everybody got a copy of that, I'm assuming? And I want to ask Priya. Priya, do you prefer to do this by email rather than doing the Google Docs?
Oh, it's the same thing. When I attach it, if you open it on Gmail, you can open it either way.
Oh, okay. So it actually is. I've been opening it just as regular attachments, but it is there on the in the Google
Yes.
Docs archive.
Yes.
It's kind of nice to have that archive, I think, actually.
Sure, yeah.
So do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the May 25th meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, roll call. Joan,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Debbie,
Yes.
Anne Marie,
Yes.
April?
Yes.
Of course, you weren't there, so it's hard to.
No, I did
The
watch
meeting
it,
when
but
you
I
weren't
wasn't there.
But I hope you read them. And I would approve them as well. Lisa has just done an outstanding job with our minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you once again. So the next thing is the director's report of activities during May 2020. And Priya, do you want to just tell us what you've been up to a little bit, in addition to the list that we have here? A lot of virtual meetings.
Yeah.
Yes, I think the next line item is the director's report. So it's kind of, I can go over it right now if you want me to.
Yeah, that actually is where we are. We're at the director's report.
Okay, I will. Okay, so as you can see, we've had a number of virtual meetings. I've had meetings with, just a second while I adjust this. Meetings with the town department heads, with the reopening task force committee that comprises of the assistant town manager, the deputy fire chief, the Parks and Rec person, the director of Parks and Rec, the COA director, and a few others, public facilities people. So we've been discussing different phases of the reopening of the town hall and other departments. So we've been having regular meetings. And then I've, of course, had meetings with our staff. We have weekly staff meetings, weekly managers meetings, and the individual departments, they have their department meetings every week. So communication is very important right now with all of us being virtual and working remotely. As you know, we started partial resumption of services, what we call part 2 of phase 1. And that was started last week. We started offering curbside pickup of materials on Fridays, accepting returns of materials on Fridays and curbside pickup on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I think some community members are a little concerned and wondering why we offer this service just for limited hours and just few days of the week. So I'd just like to explain that. Libraries in the Commonwealth and across the country are in agreement that books have to be quarantined for 72 hours. So the materials that are dropped off on Fridays are left in the automated book drop over the weekend before they are sorted and shelved on Monday. And as far as the curbside pickup is concerned, just this past week from 6/15 through 6/19, in that 5-day period, we got 1,481 hold requests.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ah,
I know everyone's been eagerly waiting for this service, I'm sure, returning the materials and getting stuff out from the library.
And your shelves looked empty?
No, no, it doesn't look empty. So dealing with this volume of requests, scheduling pickup times for curbside pickup, communicating with patrons because it's a different system that we are using for scheduling the pickups. This has been time consuming for staff. and especially because there are fewer staff members each week in the library. I would like to tell our viewers that following the town guidelines, our staff has been working in 2 teams on alternate weeks. So we pride ourselves on excellent customer service. We continue to provide that via phone, email, or in person when we see people dropping off stuff or returning materials. So I request that residents continue to be patient with us. We are constantly evaluating the services we offer, follow the guidelines of our town management, state recommendations, and the advice given by the local Board of Health. So,
Are you logging the number of calls that you get? And
yes,
Oh,
we
good,
are
good.
logging the calls, we're logging the reference emails and calls. I do have the numbers here. Let me just take a quick look.
Yeah, that'll be important, I think.
Yes, so for May, I got the numbers for May. The phone reference, we got 50 calls during the whole month, and email reference was 45 calls. And this was before we started the curbside pickup and the accepting of items. So those calls and emails were mostly about our e-resources, the digital resources, of course, questions about when the library is reopening or when we would start when people can start returning items, etc. But the majority of the calls and emails have been about help with the digital resources that we have. And I think I mentioned this at the last meeting that the numbers, the usage statistics for Overdrive, Hoopla, and the other digital resources that we have has just gone very high. I mean, it's increased, and we're happy that people are using these resources. And so they call to ask the reference librarian to walk them through the process. So more people are using the electronic resources that we have.
Quick question. Do we, because of this increased demand, do we have to pay more money to Hoopla or Overdrive? I don't know how it works.
Yes, so Overdrive, all the CW Mars libraries contribute, and we purchase ebooks. There's also a component called Overdrive Advantage, and some libraries pay for that, and we have been doing that for over 2 years now. So our patrons get access to these books, can borrow these books before other patrons. So if you have a Shrewsbury Library card, because we contribute to Overdrive Advantage, our patrons have the advantage of.
But is it like a one-time subscription? It's not based on usage, or does it go up as more people want it?
This is the number of items that we purchase. So we as the demand increased, CW Mars also increased the number of copies that they purchased, and individual libraries did the same thing. We purchased a lot of ebooks in April and May, March, April, and May. So we had stopped purchasing print copies of books. But one reason was, of course, the library was closed and we did not receive shipments or deliveries. And we wanted to be careful about spending of the funds. So we stopped ordering books. Instead, we spent on our e-resources. In June, now we have a huge backlog of the print materials that we had created lists and saved them. And so we placed our orders and we've started receiving deliveries starting this month. So we've had a backlog of summer reading books for children, books for teens, popular fiction, popular nonfiction, and all the hot picks kind of books. So we're getting lots of deliveries now, and our cataloging staff is extremely busy cataloging, processing those books. So again, because we have limited staff members and people working every other week in the library, it is a little tricky, and it has been quite a challenge. I mean, it's just 2 weeks since the staff is back, but there's the workload has really increased. And of course, we're continuing to offer virtual programs, so that continues too. And the library staff have shown remarkable flexibility and adaptability while offering remote help and planning virtual services. The adult services team has been offering remote reference help, as I mentioned before. I have heard positive comments from community members who were wary of using e-readers before, but are now happy that they have made the transition. And they do
Nothing like-
compliment the reference
Yes.
staff that they were very patient with them and walked them through this and explained it. So I'm happy about that. Librarians have used multiple virtual platforms. All of you must have seen that. Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Goodreads, Flickr, YouTube, and Padlets to provide educational and entertaining content to engage patrons to participate in virtual activities. Padlets was something new to me. I hadn't heard of that before pre-COVID-19. And it's a very easy to use resource. And it's like an online community bulletin board. And if you see our website, you'll see a link to special resources during COVID-19. And it's a compilation of free resources on various topics. And there's a separate one for children and families with young children, where we have free activities, virtual museum tours, recordings of reading of stories by our local authors like April Jones Prince and others. So we have a celebrity author in our midst. So a lot of fun stuff, and I love Padlets. I love the way our staff has used them to compile various resources. What else? Of course, Zoom. We are offering a lot of programs on Zoom, book clubs, knitting club, yoga club. We've had 2 virtual memory cafe meetings. I'm really, really happy about that. Those were held in June, where we had musicians perform and a few families joined us and enjoyed the offering. So that was great.
That was going to be one of my questions when I was reading, your report. How were you handling the Memory Cafe with Zoom?
So it was a challenge. Initially, we thought, it would be impossible to offer this program on Zoom. Then there's this network of Memory Cafe coordinators in Massachusetts. And the leader of that is a very resourceful person. And she had this webinar where she invited other Memory Cafe coordinators from around the country. It's a great network. And there were other coordinators who had been offering these virtual programs even before this pandemic. So we got tips from them. Initially, I was very skeptical about how this is going to work. But then we attended, the coordinator of the Memory Cafe and myself, we attended the Memory Cafes offered by other libraries. And that's the advantage of this virtual world, that you can attend a webinar, attend a meeting that's held anywhere in the world or anywhere in the country. So we watched what others did. And then the musicians and other performers who specialize in offering services at memory cafes and elder care residences, some of them started offering their programs via Zoom. So then we connected with them, and we had about 6 people, I think, at the first meeting. The next one, we had more, about 8 to 10 people attend. And of course, it depends, sometimes they enjoy it, maybe it depends on the mood of the person when we are offering these programs. But on the whole, it's been a positive experience, and I'm happy that we've been able to offer this. And as people hear about it more, I think we'll see more attendance at our next meetings.
Priya, how are you handling returns that were borrowed through the CW Mars system? Is there pickup of those outside resources?
Right now, we are accepting just Shrewsbury items because the interlibrary loan service has not started yet. They are working on it. The Massachusetts library system is working on that. That, as you know, is a very complex system. They provide delivery to all the libraries in Massachusetts. And CW Mars has advised us to, right now, just accept our individual library items and loan out items just from from our collection. In the next phase, I'm sure they'll start the delivery, and then we'll be able to offer that. I mean, it's tricky because, earlier we used to have delivery every day of the week. Even now, even if the delivery is resumed, they may not be able to deliver to all libraries every day. Some libraries may not be open that many hours to accept deliveries. So it is going to be a slow and gradual process.
I assume it's pretty hard to train the patrons. And when you go to the machine, will it reject a book that's not a Shrewsbury book, or will it take it in? You just have to snap it them somewhere.
No, we will take other items, but we are saying please return just Shrewsbury items for now.
So the rest of them you're putting in a room somewhere and just waiting till things open up?
We are, no, we just let all the materials be in that, in the automated handling area. So when the bins get filled up, there is an overflow bin where, we just, Dean knows about that. What we used to do over the long weekend, we used to just let the materials fall on the floor in that room. And so now it helps us because they're supposed to be quarantined for 72 hours. And on Monday, the pages come and it takes them, I mean, we just started, the pages just started coming to work last week, and 3 hours in the morning, they just gather the materials, put them on carts. And then the next 3 hours, another page comes, and then they start sorting and shelving them. So as I said, this is, it's a process. It's, the staff is doing remarkable work, with limited hours, limited number of people in the library. Same thing with pulling the holds, putting them in bags, getting them ready for the curbside pickup, and answering the phone constantly, helping patrons schedule appointments, etc. So, yeah.
Is that why the curbside pickup is in 15-minute increments? Because it keeps people separate from each other, and then it gives the librarians a chance to make sure they can get to the phone and all of that.
Exactly. It is, so we had started it, last week we offered just one appointment every 15 minutes. This week we made it two appointments every 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yes, we do have the bags ready the previous day itself because we know who's scheduled their pickup at what time. It's just to avoid the contact. We want, the parking lot to be manageable and people to be able to maintain the social distancing, etc. So that's the reason we're offering those 15-minute increments.
Is there a limit to what people can request?
We are, you can request up to 10 items, 10 Shrewsbury items. It's books, audiobooks, and DVDs, and video games too. Yes. And the children's librarians have actually asked people to reach out to them and give a list of topics or themes that they would want books on. And I mean, if it's a kid who likes books on dinosaurs, then it's easy just for them to pick up 10 books and put in a bag rather than having the patron request 10 different books from the catalog. So that's, I think, a help for families. So they just have to email the children's librarians and they will put those together.
It's nice to be busy, but it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. Yes.
Sounds very labor intensive.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why I said if the community can be patient as they have been for the past 3 months, that would be great, you know.
Okay, so
I had one other question from your report, which was the town center meeting, is that bringing business back to the town center, Priya, or?
It's the Shrewsbury Town Center Association, which is, then businesses in town. And Kristen Lass attends the meeting, and Mo DePaulo and Selco, Jackie from Selco and others. Yes, it is. They actually created a video, short video on the businesses that are open right now, and just to promote local businesses.
Yeah, I wondered, because I've seen the video. It's been on TV.
Oh, you did see that? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they did that. And they've put banners, I think, in various places about the Shrewsbury Town Center Association.
it'll be interesting to see what happens with those buildings in the center of town being sold recently. You know, the building where Michi's is and the Avidia Bank building.
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh, they've been sold?
Yeah, they went to auction. Well, they almost got to auction. It didn't quite get there before they were bought
Oh,
by a
wow.
couple of holding companies.
Oh,
Okay.
So
Not
who knows?
bad.
So can I get a motion to accept the director's report?
so moved?
Second?
Second.
Okay, roll call. Joan,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Debbie. You're muted.
Yes.
Anne Marie.
Yes.
April.
Yes.
And me, yes. Alrighty, our next item is financial and legislative, and you sent us today the year-to-date report. It looked surprisingly good to me.
I know.
Given everything that's going on.
Right. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised to see the numbers at the end.
And I understand that the town is going to month budgeting now for
From
while
July.
this goes on. And actually,
From
Debbie
July.
probably knows more about that than the rest of us. Because the selectmen had to approve that, as I understand it. Also deficit spending, so it's going to be an interesting time financially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, the town meeting date is really up in the air at this time. So maybe the selectmen are meeting tonight too. Maybe they'll be able to zero in. I think now they're thinking maybe August, but it's really just so nebulous and tentative right now. We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, I know Westford did theirs last Saturday on the football field in the
Yeah.
heat, and it's one of those turf
Oh,
grass,
Oh.
so it must have been hot.
yeah. Shrewsbury was going to use their field house, which was a nice solution, I thought.
Who used their field house?
Shrewsbury was going to use the high school field house.
Oh,
So they could
that's nice.
distance. That'd actually be pretty comfortable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So I guess financially, we just kind of wait and see right now. Sounds like.
Yes.
Okay. Next, okay, so we already talked about programs and services kind of with your report. Is there anything else that you want to add?
I would just like to talk about the summer reading program.
Oh,
that
sure. Yeah.
happened. Okay, thank you. Just a second, please. So the children's department has planned an elaborate virtual summer reading program, and it involves an adventurous quest for kids to participate in. And two of the children's librarians actually recorded a video trailer, and I'm not sure if anyone of you
I just watched it.
You watched
Yeah,
that,
shout out to Roxanne.
Roxanne and Diane. They did a video trailer to pick the interest of people in the community, and they recorded that at Chief Joseph's garden.
I was wondering where they were.
I wonder where the frog was.
Yes, that was Chief Joseph's garden. So that they have planned an amazing program for kids. I mean, I don't think anyone will miss, people will of course miss being in the library, and we will miss having everyone in the library, but this was so well planned and so detailed. You can find all the details on the children's page of the website. And then we have a program for teens, which is pretty simple, where they just have to submit the title of a book, the author, and a brief review if they like to, and they'll be entered to win raffles. So they'll be entered in a raffle to win a prize. And for the adults, our reference librarian and our new assistant director have planned a Comic-Con that's going on for about 2 weeks, I think, a week or 2 weeks in July, and they have planned a number of programs. And another thing that they've done is a digital scavenger hunt. And this weekend, I completed that form. I mean, I found it difficult because there's so much stuff on our website, and they have linked all the resources, clues, and riddles that lead to the next clue and stuff. It's really fun. So if you have the time, you can participate in the digital scavenger hunt. It's for all ages to enjoy. So this is all on our website, the summer reading link, and separately in the children's services, teen services, and adult services links. We are also planning virtual volunteer opportunities for teens. We are finalizing the details and will be communicating in a day or two through the YA listserv that goes to parents who subscribe to that. So a lot of things being planned. Oh, and I also wanted to mention the story walk. I think I mentioned it briefly at the last meeting. We finalized the days for that. We're starting next Monday, June 29th. The library and the Parks and Rec department are partnering to have the story walk for 8 weeks in the summer. It's going to be at Lake Street Park, and we'll be installing the book, David Shannon's book, Duck on a Bike. I think that's the title of the book. Yes, so that's going to be the first book. And every 2 weeks, we're going to be having displaying a new book, and parents and families can stroll along the park and enjoy a new picture book every 2 weeks. So there's going to be 4 books during the summer. And on June 29th, we're doing a Facebook Live launch, Angela Snell, Sonia, and myself. So we'll be launching the story walk at 11 a.m. on June 29th.
Great.
Awesome.
I think that will be a fun
Very
thing
neat.
for families to
Perfect.
be out in the park and enjoy reading. So I think that's all I have for programs and services.
Well, sounds exciting. We'll have to all tune in to some of these activities. Okay, I don't think we had to vote on that. That's just an information point. Next, we have facility, equipment, and grounds.
I would like to thank Public Facilities again for helping keep the library, cleaning the library thoroughly, regularly, and making it safe for the staff to be there. They also put markers on the sidewalk for social distancing markers to help patrons when they come to return materials or do curbside pickup. And I'm not sure if anyone of you has seen the curbside pickup setup that we have. We have the tent out and 2 tables right near the, across from the window where the circ staff can look out and see the patrons. So it's a very welcoming little
Yeah, I'm excited because I'm going tomorrow. Do I wave at the window and somebody inside sees me and comes out?
The bag
should
should
tell what my car looked like.
If you have a scheduled appointment, the bag will be out at that time. But we are happy to wave and.
Oh.
Waving is optional.
Now also with facility, as I understand it, there was work being done on the quiet room. Remember, we're using some of our state aid funds for that.
Sure,
How's that
that's
coming along?
completed. Oh, it's completed.
Is it good? Is it nice?
Yes, it's beautiful. You wouldn't even know that there's a new door there. It just blends very well.
Great.
There is a door to the quiet room, and they've also done the soundproofing at the stairwell. That has also
Ah,
been done. Yes,
great.
those two
Of
jobs.
course, it
done.
hasn't been put to the test yet because
Yeah,
the
right.
buildings aren't there.
Time will tell.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I
we
know
need
it's
some crazy people in the library to test
I
it.
know
That
it's
was gonna be my
ironic.
question. When will we find out if it works?
Yeah.
That is right. It's ironic that it got done when it's quiet in the library.
The
Yeah.
door on the quiet reading room, that's a big step,
Yeah.
Right.
big step.
Yeah. I guess it wasn't so quiet. Okay, well, that's good news. Anything else on facilities or?
Nope, I don't have anything
Okay,
else.
next we got gifts and grants. Anything happening there?
No,
Okay.
no new gifts and grants.
Now the next one is personnel. So I know you have hired your electronic resources librarian. You want to tell us about that?
Oh, good.
Sure. We started this process when Mike became the assistant director and the electronic resources librarian position was vacant. We advertised the position. We received 8 applications. We interviewed 3 candidates and then we picked 2 finalists and we did second interviews. It had to be done virtually, but we're very happy to we've hired Andrea Puglisi. She has over 6 years of experience in libraries in Western Massachusetts. She's worked at the, what's the place? Longmeadow and the Berkshire Athenaeum. That's where she's worked. And sorry, Pittsfield and Longmeadow, actually. I'm sure she'll be a valuable addition to our team. As you all know, technology is proving to be so crucial in our lives right now. So it's happy to welcome her, and she will be starting July 6th.
Okay.
Great.
And the contract's all signed and everything? And-
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Does she have to move or
I'm not sure if she's going to be commuting from Western Mass or she's planning to move.
Yeah, yeah.
Initially, maybe not, because we'll still be working.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how long it's
Yeah.
going to be, but 1 week in the library and 1 week remotely. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, well, we'll look forward to meeting her sometime.
Sure.
Anything else with personnel? It's crazy time, but
No.
okay.
No, everyone's
How
doing
about
well.
next item is our Public Library Foundation.
We had a foundation board meeting yesterday, and we've transferred all the funds to the Berkshire Bank. We had the funds in different banks, and now they're all in one bank. And they're planning to invest the funds in Vanguard. And what else? Nancy, do you want to add something?
Yeah, just that they'll be put into, let me see if I've got my notes here. It'll be 70% stock, 30% bonds, and we'll be moving the money over to Vanguard, but the investments are going to be done in 3 separate allotments over the next 12
9
months. So,
Why is that, Nancy? That it's
well,
3
because
chunks?
I think they, rather than dumping them all at once, we wanted to be able to sort of assess, how they're doing
Where
in
the
those
market's at.
particular things. Right.
Okay.
So that's progressing. And we also are moving forward with a fall capital campaign. We're in the process of gathering a group of movers and shakers in the community. We're calling them ambassadors. And so we're enlisting these folks to help us come up with some ways to reach people and contribute. to the endowment, so we can start building that for the future. So that's we're meeting quite frequently. We used to meet 4 times a year. Now it's 4 times a month. No, not really, but much more frequently, because we're finally getting down to the nitty gritty here, and we are exploring the possibility of hiring some professional help to help us out a little bit. So we may be using a little bit of our money for that purpose. Let's see what else. I attended last week the virtual conference that was scheduled to have been in Austin, Texas, but it was the International Public Library Fundraising Conference. And it was virtual. So we had different sessions, just as if you were physically in a place and going to different sessions for various topics. It was over a 3-day period. So it was very worthwhile. And I have tons of notes, and a lot of them will be able to implement some of these ideas as we go forward with the foundations, building the foundation.
Great.
So it's all good. Yeah.
Big steps.
Big steps. Yes.
Well, exciting. It sounds like things are really building. So
Right.
it's great. Friends of the library.
The Friends Board met the beginning of the month, and we spoke about the book sale, and they decided to cancel holding a book sale anytime in 2020. You know, they thought of various dates, initially August or later in the fall, but then they decided that we would cancel for this year and maybe schedule it for March 2021. They are keeping their options open for virtual book sales. Actually, the MBLC had a webinar on for Friends of the Library and fundraising, and Claire Nagel and I attended that meeting. And I mean, there were lots of ideas being discussed, but no one has actually come up with real proposals. So they're thinking of, other libraries were thinking of maybe having a book sale outdoors in August, but we are not sure if, gatherings would be allowed by August. And so we are not considering that. And the biggest hurdle that we have is that volunteers cannot come into the library right now and access all the materials that is in our storage in the basement. So getting the books out is not a possibility. And so, even for a virtual book sale, we would have to have access to the books in the basement to be able to scan them. And then it's a long process, of course, whether we do it on Amazon or eBay. So we don't know when it can happen, but that's something that we are thinking about, and the Friends Board is thinking about.
Wait, do we have any idea what phase 3 is going to mean for libraries yet?
We are still in phase 1.
Oh, we are? I thought we were in 2.
We are part 2. We are calling it part 2 of phase 1.
Oh.
When the staff came back to the library, and we are offering just these 2 services, so that we don't have any timeline for the next phase. As you know, the town hall is not yet open. They are planning
July 6th.
July 6th. And I'm not sure when staff will be back in the building, all the staff together, because we're still in different teams. So again, we are waiting for town guidelines and the Board of Health guidelines before we plan the next phases.
Claire, I have something to add to the Friends information. The Stop and Shop in Shrewsbury does, and actually all Stop and Shops, has a purchase bag program called Give Back. And we applied as a nonprofit to benefit from the purchase of these bags. So here's how it works, and it will be for the whole month of July. So if you go to the Stop and Shop in Shrewsbury, I think it's $2.50. You can buy a bag, and there'll be a big sign that says, for every bag you purchase, $1 goes to the Shrewsbury Public Library Friends. So, Melanie Pertucci is getting some PR out on that, but I tell you all, because you need to go to Stop and Shop and get your groceries, you check them out, instead of putting them in their paper bags, right there, you'll be able to buy the give back bags, and the friends will benefit. So there you go.
Are they a cloth bag?
No, they're the, you know, the, I don't know, whatever they're made out of, plastic, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are they
reusable?
allowing them to use again? The reusable bags, are we
Well,
allowed to use them?
They're, I'm not sure about that, but right now you can't bring in bags. But you
Right,
can certainly buy bags while you're there and take them
okay,
out. So
yeah.
that's a good question. I don't know about that. So just buy a new bag every time you go.
True.
My house is filling up with plastic bags.
Yeah.
And we are actually using the brown paper bags that the friends had collected for the book sale.
Oh, that's good.
We are using those for the curbside pickup.
Excellent.
Yeah.
They're not going to waste.
Oh, definitely not.
Okay, so next item is policies. Anything we need to do, Priya?
No new policies this time to approve.
Okay. It's kind of a strange time.
I know, yeah.
We don't have too many policies for pandemics.
After we approve the pandemic policy.
Yeah.
That's right.
Anything else, other business?
Claire, I have a question.
Mhm.
I'm wondering how the board feels about us doing something for Kevin.
Mm,
I think we should.
yeah, and I think
It's getting the idea that's the issue
we
here.
had
Because
some
he did say he'd come
conversation about
back and see us after we all kind of get back to normal.
Right. I just
We all
think
want to see
after,
Ellen too, so.
Yeah,
I just think after so many years of
Yes,
yes,
yes.
faithful
absolutely.
service,
Absolutely.
You know,
he
I
deserves
talked
some
to,
recognition by us.
Joan, do you have any suggestions for us?
well, I asked him because, you know,
Yeah.
I couldn't think of anything. He said he
Right.
really doesn't want anything.
Of course, but too bad.
Right, exactly. So I'm still kind of thinking, you know, like, you know, as you go through and you think, that would be it, but nothing has come to me as of yet. You know, he's into doing a lot of cooking now.
Okay.
Oh, that opens it up.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does, right, he's a baker.
Yeah,
And there's also, you know, there's the possibility of doing a, I don't know, maybe a Sunday sponsorship or part of a sponsorship, or I don't
Oh,
know.
that's a nice idea.
Yeah,
I
so
think he would like something like that rather
like
than
that.
something for him. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, this Sunday's, Sunday hours in appreciation of the
Right.
many years of certain kind of thing. Yeah,
Mhm.
Right.
so.
That's
That'd
a
be
good
nice.
idea. I like that.
Wondering if we could consider a donation of a book. I know he really likes theater. I mean, something that is of interest to him that's more long lasting, that
Yeah.
will be in our collection for
I think he would
the
he would like
foreseeable
something
future.
he'd like something like that too. Let me talk with Martha and see if there's a couple
Okay.
of books or something that she could
Mhm.
recommend. And I was talking to his daughter Siobhan, and I think was on the library board 30 years.
I bet he
Wow.
was. Yeah.
Wow.
It's gotta be a
Siobhan,
record.
Siobhan was talking about she can remember when he first went on the board, and she was like, you know, 9 or 10, and she is now 42.
Wow.
He figured
You
it's
know who, we could ask the town clerk to come up with that number, because I know that's what we did with Fran.
Yeah, I think it's 30 years.
Yeah, I think there was a few years when he wasn't on the board, but then he came back on too. So we'd have to
Oh,
have
yeah.
somebody go through the individual years, but the town
Yeah.
clerk would be the way to do that.
Mm,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Priya, maybe you could talk to Pat Haglund. She may have an idea on a good book in that genre that that she could choose.
Sure.
Well,
What
he
was the
does-
genre? Is
He
there a
loves
genre?
theater. He loves movies.
Okay.
His kids are always kidding him about how he loves German or subtitled movies.
Go.
Sure, I can look into that.
Yeah, and I'll talk with Martha too and see if there's anything, or if there's anything new that's coming out that would be,
Right.
worth
In,
watching.
in some respects, Martha already did some of this for us. There's that nice bench near the entrance that
bench.
is in
Right,
his honor
right.
that she donated
That's
when
right.
the building was being put for the new building.
Yeah.
So
So as you
Yeah.
walk
it's a
in,
nice little plaque on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
his grandchildren love to go and sit on it when they come.
Oh,
They do.
Maddie and Kevin make a beeline to sit on Papa's bench.
oh, okay, that's cute.
Dean, thank you for reminding us about
Yes.
that. That
Oh,
sort
it's
of
just
has
something I
slipped.
was thinking of.
No, for sure, and
He does know that,
it sort of
he
slipped
does
through the
know
cracks.
that he's invited back once we're all meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Good.
Okay, so that's an important item for us too. Anything else?
Claire, you had asked me for the dates for the future Board of Trustees meetings.
Yeah, we usually kind of go through
Yeah,
this
so
time
I
of year.
didn't post it in the agenda, but I added it in the other document.
Yes, I saw that.
You saw that?
Yeah.
The activities of May 2020.
Yeah, thank you.
I added it in that. So then dates are there till next June.
Till
It should be
next
May, I
June.
guess. Next
So
June.
it's
No.
June.
December is the only one where we're not the fourth Tuesday.
Yes.
And that often is because the budget has to get to the town manager
Right.
at the end of the month, so it works out
Yeah,
well.
we could talk about that during the course of the year, if you want me.
Who knows what's happening with budgets, right? So,
We don't know.
yeah.
Oh,
We're on
And
month
we
to
don't know
month.
when we'll be able to have real in-person meetings in the
Yeah.
library too.
Well, we've got
Okay,
enough
so-
room in a conference room to social distance, I think.
I know, we do.
I think with this smaller group, we could do it actually. But
It's just odd because restaurants now are seating people to eat meals, and I hope that we're able
Right.
to access the library sometime
Yeah,
soon.
yeah.
As
I
long
just
as we're
had-
all good doobies.
I just had a book group meeting today, and we met outside at one of our members' houses, and we were socially distant. We just had to really speak up when we had something to say, but
Yeah.
it's possible.
I think we're all erring on the side of caution, but it seems to be
Yes.
paying off.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
you're right.
Sure. Do
Unlike
we
a few
need to
other states.
approve?
Yeah.
Do we need to approve that meeting schedule? It seems to me in the past we've had to do that. Am I wrong?
I don't remember.
I think it was just a point of information.
Okay.
Because it's a consistent Tuesday, so.
And we change them as needed too, so,
Yeah.
Right.
Or we add to it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, well, our next meeting is September 22nd, and hopefully maybe we'll be physically present, but who knows?
Yes.
So can I get a motion to adjourn, and this will be our last roll call for the evening?
So moved.
I second it.
Okay,
Welcome again to
yes,
April.
welcome.
Thank
Yes.
you so much.
Yeah,
I have big
Yeah.
shoes to fill.
You'll do fine.
Yes.
So Joan,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Debbie,
Yes.
Anne Marie,
Yes.
April,
Yes.
and me, and it always, yes, I say it always passes. So,
Thank you so much.
Before everybody
Summer, everyone.
goes away,